Have you ever watched a person hold a thimbleful of authority like it was a crown, waving it around as if the whole neighborhood owed them a bow, only to see that crown shatter the moment it hits a real rule book? Yeah, that happened. My antagonist was Brenda, self-anointed queen of the estates at Oak Creek, and the battle she started over my mailbox ended with handcuffs and a room full of stunned neighbors who finally exhaled. After 25 years as an Army logistics officer, I came home wanting simple things, you know what I mean? Grass I could mow in straight lines, a grill I could master on Saturdays, a mailbox that didn't need a map and compass to find. I installed a standard black, USPS-approved steel fortress at the curb, level and secure, boring in the best possible way. According to the United States Postal Service, it was perfect. According to Brenda, it was a crime scene. The opening salvo arrived tucked under my windshield wiper, a passive-aggressive slip accusing my mailbox of violating community aesthetic standards. Standards which turned out to be unwritten, unposted, and apparently living rent-free in Brenda's head. What she couldn't know, was that I lived on rules, breathed them, moved convoys through hostile corridors by reading the fine print nobody else bothered to see. If she wanted a paperwork fight, she'd chosen the wrong retiree. I responded by the book, a polite letter to the board, attention Brenda, citing our published bylaws about uniform and neat appearance, attaching USPS specifications with every relevant line highlighted, and a manufacturer sheet proving my model was common in HOA-compliant neighborhoods across the country. I sent it certified because in my world, if it isn't documented, it didn't happen. A week later, my reply appeared as a fluorescent orange sticker plastered on the box itself. Final warning, daily fines accruing. No letterhead, no signature, just vibes and a threat. That was the first tell, power without process. Saturday morning, I caught her on patrol. The clipboard march, the narrowed eyes, the smirk that says I enjoy this. Mr. Jensen, she purred, have you addressed your violation? I tried reason. Brenda, the mailbox complies with. She cut me off with a raised palm. Rules are rules. The committee decided. Which committee? I asked. Was there a vote? Minutes. She smiled like a cat. I'm head of architectural review. The decision is the committee's decision. Fix it or the fines continue. We can always put a lien on your house. She pivoted away, clipboard held like a scepter. Let me back up a sec and tell you what that moment felt like. Every instinct I had for de-escalation said walk away. Every lesson I'd learned about bullies said document everything. I chose both. I started a log. Dates, times, her remarks, photos of every notice. The daily fines were fiction, unenforceable without an actual vote and notice, but I let her talk herself into corners, because people who think they're untouchable always overreach. And on a wet Tuesday, she did. I found my mail scattered in the grass, a VA letter torn, the flap left open like a sneer. On one bill was a sticky note in Brenda's sharp handwriting. Maybe if you had a proper mailbox, this wouldn't happen. The temperature in my veins dropped 10 degrees. This was beyond HOA drama. Interfering with mail isn't an aesthetic debate. It's a federal problem. From that minute, I stopped arguing and started building a case. Surveillance came first. I bought a weatherproof micro camera disguised as a birdhouse. 4K video, motion activated, great in low light, streaming to a secure cloud and to my phone. I mounted it on a young oak with a clean sight line to the curb, ran the cable under mulch, and tested angles until the box filled the frame like a stage. Then I mapped her pattern of life. Yeah, we called it that in the service. Logging every pass of her white SUV, every evening patrol, the mail carrier's window, which household she paused to inspect. Within 3 days, she was a schedule, not a mystery. She lingered outside my place, fiddled with the flap, left another sticky note. The footage piled up, date stamped, backed up to 2 drives, and a thumbstick in my safe. Tyrants don't anticipate high-definition accountability. Evidence is good. Proof of intent is better. So I baited the trap. I ordered 3 small deliveries. A soft mailer with a gardening book she'd be curious about because she bragged about her roses, a small box with a solar garden light, and a brushed nickel set of house numbers that would make her see red on principle. I also prepped a decoy letter, sealed around a wafer-thin GPS tracker, addressed to me, dropped at a blue box 2 towns over. That GPS ping would be my smoke trail if anything went missing. Meanwhile, I found a human ally, George, a tired board member who'd been steamrolled once too often. I didn't show him my hand. I just let him know I was concerned and documenting. His weary nod said enough. Wednesday, the book arrived. An hour later, my phone buzzed. There she was in 4K, pretending to tie a shoe, checking both directions, opening my box, weighing the package in her palm like a grapefruit she didn't want. She dropped it onto my driveway, hard, and kicked it under her shoe before shoving it back inside. Thursday, the garden light came. She shook the box by her ear like a rattle and flung it onto the grass, then slid it back as if doing me a favor. Friday was the main event. House numbers plus the GPS letter. At 2:22 p.m., the carrier placed them neatly inside. At 4:51, Brenda beelined from the sidewalk, no pretense now, ripped the numbers out, hurled the box to the curb, and then tore open the decoy letter, not a tiny tear, a full rip down the spine, crumpled it with another envelope, and tossed both into the storm drain. On my phone, the tracker climbed from the mailbox to the gutter and settled, pinging from the city's veins. Checkmate. I spent the evening turning raw footage into a briefing. Cover page, formal complaint, obstruction of correspondence. Chronology with stills and timestamps. Each image labeled cleanly. Subject open sealed letter. Subject discards mail and storm drain. Links to full-length video files, GPS screenshots, logs of notices, and my certified response. If logistics taught me anything, it's that you win before you arrive, by making it easier for a decision-maker to say yes than no. I skipped the local precinct and called the United States Postal Inspection Service. The intake agent's tone changed the second I said multi-angle 4K and GPS data. An hour later, Inspector Davidson called. We met the next morning at a coffee shop. He scanned, he nodded, he asked smart questions. I handed him 2 discs and a thumb drive. He promised to follow up soon. Then the universe handed me a stage. An email hit my inbox. Agenda for the quarterly HOA meeting, Tuesday evening. New business, item 4B. Hearing and sanctions for code violation, lot 74. I sent the agenda to Inspector Chan with a note. This might be convenient. He replied in minutes. Thank you. Noted. The clubhouse felt like a beige courtroom. The folding chairs, the burnt coffee, the hum of fluorescent lights, and simmering suburban grievances. I took a seat in back, tablet in my bag, George giving me a subtle nod from the board table. Brenda opened the meeting with the usual budget lullaby before sharpening her smile for 4B. She painted me as a rogue who refused to honor shared values, waved blurry phone photos of my scandalous mailbox, and called for maximum fines, retroactive to her first warning. I now call for a vote, she declared, already tasting victory. I stood. Before you vote, I said calm, even, my voice carrying without effort. The homeowners deserve the whole story. You are out of order, Brenda snapped. This is not a debate. Oh, I think it is, I said, pulling the tablet. You've accused me of breaking a vague rule. I have concerns about some very specific federal laws you've been breaking. A gasp rippled through the room. Then the doors opened. A man and a woman in professional attire stepped in. Not uniforms, but the kind of presence that makes a room sit up. The man held out a badge. Brenda Miller? He asked. Brenda's mouth fell open. I'm Inspector David Chun. This is Inspector Davies, United States Postal Inspection Service. We have a federal warrant and need to discuss repeated theft and destruction of U.S. mail. The word federal hung in the air like a siren. Phones tilted. Chairs creaked. Brenda went from crimson to chalk in 3 breaths. This is a misunderstanding, she said, voice cracking. I'm the HOA president. This is official business, ma'am. Inspector Davies cut in, level as a plumb line. Your position gives you 0 authority to handle mail. What you call official business, the federal government calls a felony.